Welcome to the Living Proof Recovery Podcast. We're your host. I'm Evan. This is Brian. We're joined tonight with our friend Joe, back for the second time to join us on tonight's episode. Before we kick it over to Brian for a little topic, I just wanted to start it out with a fuck Richard Sackler. And we'll go ahead and let Brian get into it.
Is Joe our first person to be on here multiple times? Or
Tony
was.
Tony
Was. That's right. Okay. So I figured what we would do tonight is talking with my sponsor after I got off work today, and we got on the topic of Mythbusters and things that we hear in meetings, and sometimes how they can hurt or help people depending on if they're used in the correct context or not, right? So he was telling me that he did this step study a while back, and the title of it was "That's Not in the Big Book." So talking about a lot of things that we hear in meetings that people portray them like they come out of our literature, and they just, after a while, these things, it's like playing that telephone game. As a kid, I tell you something, then you tell them, and by the time it gets around to Joe, it's a totally different message. And a lot of times that's kind of what happens in the in AA, because if you read something out of the big book, and then somebody puts a twist on it, and then their sponsee puts a twist on it, and then another person puts a twist on it, before you know it, you've got a totally different message.
Right.
It's all well-meaning.
Right.
No one's trying to hurt anyone with these things. Everyone's trying to help. But sometimes, especially when we're new, we get influenced really easily by what people say, and we don't know how to take things in the right context. And we think, so as people who've been sober for a little while, we think that a lot of these things it's implied, right, to know what we mean. But, people early in recovery, they just hear a certain thing and they're like, well, that's what it is. They don't understand the depth of it. Yeah, they don't understand the depth of it. So I'm going to read a couple of these and kind of just get your all's take on, if it hurts, helps, what's good about it, what's bad about it, what it actually means, what could we do instead, those kind of things, right? So, let's see. First one, play the tape all the way through, or think through the drink.
I mean, that's something I heard for years, and from the first time when I went through the Bullitt County Drug Court program, we would always go through like a list of mantras, right? And that was on there. Play the tape all the way through. Like, obviously, that's not in the big book,
right?
They
but
tapes back then?
right. But
play the record.
Play the record. Spin that record.
I can understand that, for someone who's fresh into recovery, it's, if you can, I know I can always envision what's going to happen if I put that first one in me. I can play that through, so I don't, some of these I feel like can be taken out of context, but I personally don't see a problem with that one. I know it's not in the literature,
Right.
But I don't necessarily see an issue or anything with that. It can be helpful if you actually use it as a tool. If you use it, and
Yeah, I think I heard that the first time in a treatment center. You know what I mean? That's the shit we carry from the treatment center to the minivan.
Exactly.
And it's a good one. It's not always possible, but I think in the beginning it's helpful, because in the beginning, early recovery, a lot of people don't have a good defense against the first one. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, we know that you don't know how to fucking live yet, or we know you don't have any good defense against the first drink or drug or whatever. But when that fucking notion's there, think about what got you here. You know what I mean? Think about all the pain and suffering that you went through.
I know for me personally, when I get to that point that
Too
I'm
late.
going to use, I'm not playing the tape through though personally.
No.
Right.
It's a good. It sounds good, and it can if you can do that.
Right. If
I
it's
know
possible.
early on I was never able. Like now I could do that.
Yeah.
But early on, I couldn't really do that. If I ever got to the point to where it was I'm gonna drink or I'm gonna go
Right.
to the dope man, like
You were drinking.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like there's no other thoughts in my head
Right.
at that point. So
I think.
I guess it for the newcomers it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But I think if like now versus then, like now you're spiritually fit. You know what I mean? Then you weren't.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit, right? So,
Not you.
not me, right? Not me. So, I agree with what y'all are saying, right? That early on, like now, yes, right. Early on, I think that's a very slippery slope to get on, right? So, meaning, so we would all agree, right, that alcoholism and drug addiction is a disease,
Yeah.
right? Right. Yeah. And it affects what part of my body? My brain, right? Where do I think from?
Would depend on.
My brain, right? Well, yeah, yeah. Well,
It's on
yeah.
the situation.
What is? Yeah, exactly. Or does it? Right. So, so the place that I make decisions and make choices and think from is the place that I'm sickest at.
With centered, yeah.
Right. So I'm using the problem to solve the problem. Right. And where that gets where I get in trouble, where we can get in trouble with that is that might work, right? Like it might work on Monday, it might work on Tuesday, it might work on Wednesday, but there will come a time when so when I'm obsessing, it's too late,
Right.
Yeah.
right? So
Absolutely.
if it gets to that point, I'm not going to think it through, right?
There's
Because an obsession, by definition, is a thought that overrides all other thoughts.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. There's a difference between a thought and an obsession.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
there's a difference.
Yeah. So it's like if I'm sitting around thinking, man, drink sounds nice. Yeah, I can probably think through that.
Right.
But if I'm obsessing
Obsessing
over a
yeah.
drink and I call my sponsor and he says, play the tape through.
Yeah.
Well,
know,
if that's
well-
all your sponsor says. then
No,
he
well,
sucks.
yeah, he sucks.
I know.
Yeah. But, I'm just using that for an example. My
Right.
sponsor wouldn't say that.
Right.
But, so, because it tells us in the book right there, when that happens, we are beyond human aid. Right. So it's like, if I'm trying to problem solve with the problem,
Right.
that's a problem.
So
Because-
hopefully by that point though you got more tools than just playing the tape all the way through. Hopefully, like you said, you can call your sponsor. You can pray that
Yeah.
shit. You know what I mean?
Did you guys ever use, even though you knew it was things were probably gonna be bad?
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
used, yeah,
Yeah,
right,
Yeah.
yeah. But there were also times when I played the tape through and I didn't use, and what that did was it registered success in my brain that I've got this. All
Oh,
I've got to
shit.
do is use my willpower and my
Right,
brain
right.
because I know drugs are bad. So all I got to do is play the tape through, and I'll be fine.
Till your VCR broke.
Right? Yeah. And then I'm drunk.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think it can. All of these can. There's good and bad in all of these. Like there's certain contexts that
Right.
these things can work. Like it's not like you said, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not a solution. It's
Right.
a tool.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the difference, right? If we're just using that as my defense or as my tool, like so when things get bad, I just think it through, then that can be.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time when that's not going to work.
Right, because you've never been able to think your way out of this shit before. How you do it now?
Exactly.
And that's the importance of getting to work early.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're able to identify the difference between a thought, the mental obsession,
Right.
and a craving. They're all different things.
Right.
So
Yeah, and if it gets you through a night, that's a good thing, right? But you can't rely.
Right, right. If it gets you through the night, great. But the next
Yeah.
day, you better put some fucking work.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Well,
Go ahead.
it's like I told y'all, I'm super spiritually unfit on my way to the liquor store, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then God intervened. And then the next day, I'm at a meeting. You know what I mean? Like, look, bro, like, we got to do something different. I got to put work in. It wasn't, oh, I played this tape all the way through and I'm going to be fine. It was, I'm fucking up. I'm spiritually unfit. I've done swayed so far away from this program and saved my life and all these people who tried to help me, and I'm just doing this shit by myself. You know what I mean? To the point to where God's like, hold the fuck up, bro. And if I would have just been like, oh, well, I played the tape through and I didn't get drunk, that would have been drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I had to use all the other shit, all the other spiritual toolkit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next one. Just don't drink and go to meetings.
My favorite.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What page is that on?
Right.
The,
I wrote it.
it's got to be in there. It's got to be in there.
Yeah. I think that is so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You know, because and you see it, and there are a lot of people who do that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I know some people who I guess have been, you know, sober or without a drink for multiple years that way, you know, and just show up to a meeting for an hour and don't drink, you know, and I don't know how they do it. You know, I feel like it's super fucking rare that that's the case. Because I know for me, that's not enough.
Nah.
You know, I think it's very dangerous. I personally don't see the good in any of that, because if I just show up to a meeting and don't drink, if that's all I do, my wife and kids are now miserable. My coworkers are miserable. Everyone that comes in contact, well, you guys, y'all don't count. But, you know, that's just what it's going to be, you know? So I don't see any good in that one personally.
Well, not picking up a drink and going to a meeting's a great thing. Don't pick up a drink, go to a fucking meeting.
But I'm talking about to register the long term.
But,
you know,
once you get to the meeting, do all the other shit the people at the meeting tell you to do. You know what I mean? But if it's don't drink and go to meetings, what are you gaining, and what happens when life shows up? You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool.
What if you can't make it to a meeting?
Right. What if COVID happens and there's no fucking meetings? How many people died because of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That shows you what people's recovery really was.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Unfortunately.
And that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not drinking and just going to meetings is going to kill a lot of people, because you took away the solution to the problem, which was alcohol, and then the other solution to the problem is people. Both of those things are going to fail alcoholics miserably. The solution to the problem is spiritual, and you're not going to find either one of those in alcohol or in a meeting. Will you find the guide to spiritual enlightenment in a meeting? Maybe enlightenment's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Yeah, because people tell you pick up the book and work some steps, get a sponsor, find a support group.
If you're going to a healthy meeting.
Right, but if you're just going to the meeting and sitting in a chair and hopefully you're just listening and not fucking speaking, you know. And I don't mean, if you got problems, cool, share it, but please don't give advice to people. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds shitty and mean of me, but like, what do you have to offer? I didn't drink. I went to a meeting today. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that goes with this, right, is just put the plug in the jug. Right. Same thing. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I have that one forever.
Don't go to don't drink and go to meetings. You know. So if I could just not drink, why do I need to go to a meeting?
Right.
You know,
Right.
why do I need to go? If I can just put the plug in the jug, what are you doing? I'm at home putting the plug in the jug, man. I don't need to come to that stupid meeting, because
Right.
I already put the plug is already in the jug. I don't need to go anywhere. You know, so that's, like you said, that's putting dependence on people. Like, it's me thinking that the solution to alcoholism is the meeting.
Right.
And it's not. It's action. It's the work that we do. Now, there's good in that, right? Because it's good to go to a meeting. You know, fellowship's important, you know. But why am I going to the meeting? Am I going to the meeting because my ass is on fire and maybe there's someone there I can help?
Right.
You know, where I can get outside of myself? Or am I going in there just trying to take?
Right.
from this meeting and try to puke on the table and have you clean it up so I can feel better, you know? Or am I just going to go in there and just sit down and after an hour just leave?
Right.
You know, okay, I mean, you can do that anywhere. You could have went to Target for an hour. You know, like I don't think that that's just not the solution to our problem. It's a part of a solution, but
Right.
it's not the solution to our problem. And just telling an alcoholic to just don't drink, I mean, that's like telling a schizophrenic to just don't hear voices. You know, I mean, come on.
And I just think I'm thinking of it from someone I know personally who has been coming around for a little while now, and I know that's what they do. They just don't drink, and they go to a meeting a couple times a week.
Yeah, they're probably
And,
miserable.
and every time you hear this person talk, it's just negative all the time.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
something's always wrong.
Yeah, of course.
Victim, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's why I think that that gets thrown around so loosely that, and this is someone who took that, well, that's what I got to do. That's all I got to do.
Right.
Even though people have told them several times, like, why don't you get a sponsor and work some steps and get some of this freedom? Well,
Yeah.
no, all I got to do is not drink and just
Yeah.
come to this meeting and I'm okay, you know. But then every time I hear them speak before the meeting, just when we're fellowshipping and, you know, even sometimes during the meeting, it's just like, man, it's always
Right.
so, it's something
Poor me.
negative.
Yeah.
It's never, you know, what has this done for your life? How has passing the hope on to someone who needs to
Mhm.
hear some hope?
Right.
They never get that,
Yeah.
you know, and that's why
Because you
just
can't
think
transmit something you don't have.
right. So
Yeah.
it's just dangerous, you know.
It's a total contradiction to what we're taught out of the book and what people in meetings say. You know, because what everyone tells us is that alcohol is not our problem. Right? So just not drinking,
Right.
that's not my problem.
Right.
So I'm trying to treat something that's not my problem.
Right. That was your treatment to your problem.
Yeah.
That's fucking your whole life.
Yeah, so I still have no treatment.
Right.
So the treatment is just going to a meeting.
Right.
And do you guys know how many meetings you have to go to have a spiritual awakening?
I don't think we can ask a little Al on Tootsie Roll Pop commercial.
Right. I mean, I mean,
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think,
There's not an answer.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
there's an amount. I don't think there's an amount
Unless that, like a.
because that's not going to bring about
Right.
the work that the steps do.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's what you learn in the meeting and how you move forward. But if you're, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
If you just go to the meeting and you're not doing the other shit, you're not doing.
And let's be honest, that's what most people do.
Yeah.
The latter, you know,
Right.
just go to the meeting. Well, check it off. I went to a meeting, so I
That's
should
just
be.
the
So I
first.
should be good.
Right.
Right.
Well, there's 3 sides. Right?
Yeah. So I mean, but that's what most people do.
So you're just doing one.
Yeah. So I mean, there's exceptions to all these, right? Like there are people that, you know, say think I need to go to a meeting, and they go and they talk to somebody and they take suggestions. We're not talking necessarily to that person,
Right.
right? We're talking to the people that just keep having the same issue,
That took
that
this.
keep having to run to a meeting to get a little bit of peace.
Yeah.
Right.
That's who we're talking to.
You know, someone that I just heard the other night at a meeting, you know, coming up on a few years that, well, I almost went out the other night. And I'm like, well,
What are you doing?
there's a reason for that. And that's
Yeah.
because all you do is come to a meeting every once in a while and don't drink. There's a reason
Right.
you
Well, it's
almost
miserable.
went out.
Yeah. I mean, it just sucks.
There's no new way of life.
No, you're stuck in the same fucking way of life. The only thing you're not doing is you're not drinking, and you're fellowshipping with a bunch of alcoholics.
Yeah.
It sounds like what you were doing before, just not drinking.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
And I've tried it. I've spoken about it on here. I've tried being just in the fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried being just in the, you know,
Right.
just in the program. Like I've tried it all separately and I failed every time.
Right.
So I know where I need to be, and that's
Also, yeah,
right in the center of all
Right.
three sides. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put the work in. You got to help somebody, and meetings are helpful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They are.
Yeah.
I can.
100%.
You go to a meeting, you help somebody, or on the flip side of that, if you go to a meeting and you're feeling like shit, and you know you see some of your friends there, and then after the meeting or whatever, you're like, hey, I should have called y'all earlier, but this and this and this is going on, and then your friends are there to help. They're like, cool, what do you need?
Yeah.
You know,
It's important.
yeah, hey, let's look at this book. This is what the book says about it. And you're like, well, it doesn't say that. And you're like, yes, it does. It's exactly what it says.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Brian.
You know, and that. I mean,
I'll gladly take that insult.
Right. It wasn't.
You know, I was thinking about it earlier, like how fortunate, like especially the three of us are,
Mhm.
that we get to do all this together. You know what I mean? We go to meetings together, we help people together. You know, I can be working with a sponsee, and I bounce stuff off of you, and I bounce stuff
Mhm.
off of you. We we work together on a daily basis. So
Right.
I just know I'm very fortunate to have the group of guys that I have. You know,
It's funny that you say that because that's actually what sparked this conversation between me and Sean.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about, he was like, man, he's like, you're just so blessed that you work around guys that are in recovery. And then we just started talking about stuff that we hear at meetings and, stuff like that.
I think it's funny when you find out that somebody you worked with forever. Like when I found out Evan was in recovery or early recovery, you're like, I'm not gonna call anybody else out, but like other people, I'm calling him because he's right here. But other people, I'm like, oh shit, really? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, cool, man. You know, and it's a sense of camaraderie. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like I used to, when we used to have a body shop across, there was another dude that was in the program, and this poor son of a bitch, dude. Like I wasn't really going to meetings. I wasn't really working. I was just kind of dry. So anytime shit went wrong, he had to hear it. And all the time he'd be like, "Joe, your program sucks." And I'm like, "Fuck you," you know. And he would listen to my bullshit, and he'd be like, "Yeah, man." And he would say, "When's the last time you went to a meeting? When's the last time you talked to your sponsor? When's the last time you picked the book up?" You know. And I'd be like, "Okay, I'll do that." And then the next day he has to hear about my shitty night that I had. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've always been fortunate to have people in recovery. They're not always fortunate for me, but
Right. All right. So, all right. I will always be recovering, never recovered, slash, I will always be sick.
okay.
There's context to it. So
I'll-
there's nuance.
Right. I'll always have the disease of addiction.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't always have to be miserable. Is how I see it. You know what I mean? Like,
It's treatable.
right. The 10-step promises. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If I reach that point, I feel like that I've recovered from a hopeless state of mind and body.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And if I recover from a hopeless state of mind and body, then I feel like I'm doing pretty good. And all of that is based on my spiritual condition.
Mhm.
So I know that I'm still gonna have to put work in. Still gonna have to help somebody. Still gonna have to, read. I'm still gonna have to work with others. I'm still gonna have to work steps. I'm still gonna have to pray and meditate every day. Like I'm still gonna have to do all this shit to keep this. But I think at that point, my recovery it tells me that I'm recovered in the book.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. It flat out.
Said yeah.
That's not in the book.
Dozens of times.
Right. But am I always going to be in recovery? Am I always going to have to put the work in? Am I always? Yeah, absolutely.
Two different things.
Right. Right.
They sound very similar, but they're two totally different things.
Right.
If I'm always recovering, that means I'm always going to be sick. Now I can have alcoholism and not be sick.
Yeah.
I believe that's where I am now.
Right.
I'm not spiritually sick.
Right.
Can I get that way again?
Absolutely.
Sure. If I don't treat my disease, then I will get sick again.
Yeah.
You know, but I heard a guy say this in a meeting at my home group, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago. And he was going on about all this bad stuff that he was doing, you know, and just acting a fool. And he was like, but the book tells us we're always going to be sick. And I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Okay.
And I was thinking, there's new people here. Like, why would I keep coming if I think I'm always going to be sick? What's the point? I might as well just stay sick and drink.
Right.
Because if I'm always going to be sick, then there's no hope. Where's the hope if I'm always going to be sick? Now, am I always going to be battling some character defects? Sure. Who's right? Who's not? Right? I mean, whether we're recovered or not, there's still things that life still happens,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that I'm still sick. I'm not being so selfish. I'm not being dishonest. I'm not harming people.
Right.
I'm not obsessing about drinking.
Right.
I have recovered from alcoholism. I don't think about alcohol.
Well, that's sort of. I was gonna butcher it, of course, because I was about to just straight guess.
I hate when you do that.
No.
I'm gonna butcher it.
I'm gonna butcher
I was gonna
But,
guess the page. I was gonna
Oh,
guess the
okay.
page, but I was like, I'm gonna get it wrong, and somebody's gonna go fact check me. And
Right.
but
86.
so okay,
He's like, these
That's-
motherfuckers.
no. I was gonna say 84, 85 is what I was
Oh,
thinking.
yeah.
Where I was thinking, but Googler says 101 to 102
What?
is
Well,
where,
it talks about
Is
depending
where-
on what you're talking about.
is where it talks about. So we can
We can
recover.
go anywhere.
It talks about we can recover, right? We can go anywhere. We can do
Okay.
anything.
We're talking about the 10-step process. What we're
Okay, all right.
Well,
so,
read
yeah.
what it said.
Well, this is just a quick breakdown of it, but it's it's where it talks about we can go anywhere, and explains that alcoholics can go places where alcohol is served. We can attend social events without fears, provided they are on solid spiritual ground.
Absolutely.
It tells us in the book that we can recover from a hopeless state of mind and body. It
Mhm.
tells us that.
Right,
So
okay.
to say we're always going to be sick, we're never recovered, we're always in recovery. We always work a program of recovery,
Right.
but we 100% can recover if we've done the work. And
Could y'all
maintain
imagine
fit
at this
spiritual
point
condition.
not being able to go in somewhere because
No, dude.
that would suck.
What's
dude.
the point?
We were
Yeah.
talking about it before we started recording, before you got here, about something we saw where someone who is in recovery, they're in early recovery, keep in mind, but they talked about how they've bought alcohol on 3 different occasions, and they gave it to their sponsor twice, and they gave it to
Is it a
a
therapist,
therapist or something the third time, and like that's cool. That
They held on to it that long.
well, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it,
Okay,
but
okay.
like that's cool that you didn't drink it and you gave it
No,
up.
absolutely.
But like, just stuff like that, and because I know me, even I bought alcohol for my wife's coworker for a present for a basket they were putting
Mhm.
together, and this 6-pack sat on my counter for like a week or two, and I looked at it every day, and not one time did I have the thought to
Right.
I should crack one of those open.
Right.
I bought, on vacation, on the beach.
Yeah.
Bought my dad a whole case of I don't know what the hell he was drinking, some kind of fruity chick drink is what it was.
judged the
But
shit
I,
out of it.
yeah, and I'm like, drink this, but I bought him a whole case of it, and I'm packing it down to the beach, and not
Right.
one time did it cross my mind that
because you're recovered.
exactly.
Right. And
Because
early
you
recovery
recognize that-
do
Well,
not
making
do
sure
that
they know
too.
this isn't yours.
Right.
Right.
Not
I'm
because
just
you're in
kidding.
Right.
sobriety, but because I
I'm
would
just
drink
kidding.
this.
Right. Yeah.
Get into
You put
where
an old Milwaukee Smith label on it just so you
Yeah.
can transport it.
just getting to the point of where it tells us in the book. This is what we're talking about is things that that's not in the book.
Right.
That's not in the book.
Right.
But it does tell us in the book that we can recover, we can go anywhere, do anything as long as we're in spit and we're in there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I had no intent of drinking any of this alcohol. My intentions were
Right.
where they were supposed to be. Like we can recover, and that's proof that we can recover.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So
But that's the kicker is I can get real sick again
yeah, real quick. Yeah.
I've done that too.
Yeah, me too, bro.
You know, if I get out of this, like we were talking about, if I'm not in the solution, right in the middle of all three sides of the triangle, if I'm not in the middle of it,
Right.
I probably would have been drinking with my dad on the beach.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing. We have to stay in the middle, and we can do anything and go anywhere,
Right.
and stay
And be recovered.
stay recovered.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
So there's been plenty of times when I would go to liquor store to buy vape.
Yeah.
You know, right there in Mount Washington, Cox's.
Yeah.
I would go in there
Yeah.
all the time on my way to work and go in there and not even think twice, walk by all the alcohol, not even think twice and buy, because I'm there for a reason. Like, I have a reason for being there. It's because I'm buying a vape. I'm not there to look at the alcohol and think about the good old days of the past, or, you know, try to get a little vicarious,
Right.
you know, feeling of, oh, I remember when I drank that. You know, I'm not there for that. I'm there for a vape. And I
Right.
go and I get a vape, or, you know, my wife drinks on occasion. She's like, can you stop at the liquor store and pick me up some tequila? Sure.
Right.
You know, walk right up there and buy it, and it's not a problem. It's really not, you know. Now, I'm not hanging out there. You know, I'm not like hanging
Right.
out at the bar
Right.
talking to guys that I used to drink with, because
Right.
I don't have a reason to do that.
Right.
You know, but if we go out to a place to watch a ball game or something,
Yeah, that's cool.
I can sit at the bar and
Right,
watch
yeah.
the game. It's no big deal.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's a whole different way of life to be able to do that. But there's like a prerequisite to be able to do that. You know, you got to do the work
Yeah, you got
to
to.
be able to do that.
Right.
You know, it's not like, well, I've been sober 6 months, but I
I
haven't
quit
worked.
drinking and started going to meetings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't worked any of the steps.
Right.
You know, I don't have a higher power. I
And,
don't have any of this stuff, but I've been sober for a while. That's different.
No, that's how you get.
That's how you get fucked
Yeah.
up.
and
Yeah.
I can think back to, I think I was like four, maybe 4 or 5 months sober at the time. And my brother had his bachelor party, right? And the the uh, the desire to drink and use left me pretty quickly this time around when I got sober, right? But that's because I got to work immediately.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
But I was like 4 or 5
funny
months
how that
sober.
works when you're beat down.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've done
Yeah.
work the program, beat yourself to death, and went back
Yeah.
back to the program.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, man. I took it.
No, you're good. So, but
No, it's
but no, 4 or 5 months sober, and I go to his he just, it was a small little, just a few of us, maybe 5 or 6 of us, at like the billiards club,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I'm the only one
Right.
that doesn't drink.
Guess who's driving?
I didn't drive a single one of them. I didn't drive a single one of them. But I went, like I met them there
Right.
and hung out, played some pool for a couple hours. And, you know, my dad was there, my brother and cousins, and
Right.
just pretty much the ones who were in the wedding, you know. And we hung out, and they were drinking, doing their thing the whole time. And I'm just hanging out, eating, playing pool with them. And fine. I was there for the right reason, even though I was with everyone else they were drunk.
Right.
Everybody's drunk except for me.
Right.
But at the same time, I knew, like, okay, I'm here for the right reason.
Right.
Right.
I'm at this point in time, I was in fit spiritual condition, involved in the program, and, you know, but I didn't push my limits either.
Right.
I was there. I hung out with them for, I guess, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I was like, all right,
See ya.
y'all have fun the rest of the night. I'm out.
Right.
You know, so you just have to be, you know, you, like I said, you can go anywhere, like it tells us, like we can do that. But I still, even in that moment, even though the thought to drink or nothing never crossed my mind, hanging out with them, and I'm getting them buckets of beer from the bar,
Right.
Right.
I still at the same time was like, okay, I'm here, but now
I mean,
My
too
welcome
much.
is
Yeah.
it's
Time to
getting
go.
like it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I can walk out of here fine right now. You know?
Yeah, and not worry about what they're going to think because you need
You're
to
right.
leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Who
there's-
gives a shit?
Yeah, but if we're not in fit spiritual condition, we will care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to tell them I got to leave because then they're going to give me shit,
Mhm.
you know, or say whatever, and then I'm going to feel peer pressure to stay, and I'm not going to drink though, and then, you know, before you know it,
Yeah. You're
it's, you might not drink there, you might just leave, get some beer, and drink on the way home.
Yeah,
Right.
because
You know?
they were going out to do other stuff too,
Right.
and I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like,
time for me to go.
yeah, it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better than you, fool.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
That's where kind of like this comes back to the first one that we talked about because we can make a lot of choices, like the right choices, once we've done the work.
Yeah.
Right? Because it tells us it's somewhere in there in the 10th step, it talks about God gave us brains to use.
Yeah.
Right. So, because our will is aligned with God's will. So we intuitively know how to handle things that used to baffle us, right? Like, how do I get out of this situation? It's time to go, right? I know it's time to go, you know, but if I haven't done that work, I'm probably not going to recognize that it's time to go. Even if I do, I'm not going to have the balls to leave.
Or the
And that-
will to leave.
Yeah.
I guess that's where I got that night. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time for me to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I gotta get the hell out of here.
not because I want to drink with you guys, but it's just time for me to go.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm
Yeah.
getting tired.
Yeah.
Wife's gonna be all
Drunk
like,
people
time
are
to go home.
annoying.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. For the first hour,
I've already
they're
lost
not
the
annoying
point.
because it's funny. They're funny. And
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, you guys are different.
Right. Please stop hugging me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
No, I don't want to fight that. Guy.
Yeah. For the 5th time, I can't smoke a joint with you.
Right. Right.
You know. All right. Next one. Avoid triggers at all costs.
My whole life's a fucking trigger.
No,
Like, I don't believe. I don't even. I just don't believe in triggers
Yeah, I don't either.
personally because when you really think about it, did either one of you all only drink and drug because certain things,
Something bad happened.
good things happen, bad things happen. The sun came up. It's Tuesday, Thursday,
I don't need a
Sunday.
Yeah, I did.
I
all-
never,
Yeah.
I never needed a reason.
I found them.
Of course, but at the end
You're
of the
always going
day,
to find a reason.
Right.
my reason was because my eyes opened.
Right. Absolutely.
That's where it was.
It's because I don't want my legs to hurt and I don't
Yeah.
want to throw up everywhere.
before
yeah.
my feet hit the floor,
Right.
I was already using. I
Yeah,
didn't
absolutely.
need. I didn't need a reason to use. I hate. I don't
I do
care.
too.
And people probably don't like
Well,
that.
this is
that's
another
my-
treatment center fostered.
It is,
Right.
and
And
I hate it. I don't agree with it. I think it's.
I'm gonna defend it a little bit.
I'll fight
Right. That's cool. Okay. I hit you with my bad toe.
Watch the roundhouse.
Right.
It's legal
Right. For me.
for you.
No, I think in early recovery, avoiding triggers is avoiding people, places, and things. You know what I mean? And I think avoiding people, places, and things in early recovery is important. But I don't necessarily believe in triggers. I believe in if I put myself in this situation and I'm not spiritually fit to be there, I'm going to be fucked up. You know what I mean? And as far as like triggers, like, oh man, triggers are fucking excuses. People, places, and things are
Yeah.
excuses. But if you're not spiritually fit to be there, you're not spiritually fit to be there, and you're going to end up fucked up. But like after you get some time in and after you put some work in, if you still have triggers, then you're doing something fucking wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And did I ever have triggers? No. No. I had people, places, and things, situations. You know what I mean? The situations I put myself in to get high, to get drunk, to do whatever the fuck I was doing, I shouldn't have been there. You know? But no, there was no, and like you said, there was never a trigger. I've been smoking fucking weed since I was 13. You know what I mean? And I was trying to smoke weed every day. Not because I was sad, because I wanted to smoke fucking weed.
Yeah.
You know, and when I started drinking, I wanted
Because you're a drug addict.
right, because I'm an alcoholic 100%, right?
Yeah.
And I do everything alcoholic. And even at like drinking or smoking weed or whatever shit I was doing, it, and I was never dope sick. You know what I mean? But I was still doing that shit like I was dope sick. As soon as my fucking feet hit the ground, that's what I wanted to do. And then once I got strung out on fucking opiates and was dope sick as shit, you know what I mean? As soon as my feet hit the ground, that's what I had to do. But there was no trigger there.
So here's why that kind of stuff is taught in treatment.
Mm-hmm.
It's because if early on in recovery, if you avoiding people you used to get high with or places that you used to drink at, if that will help you stay sober until you can get your feet on the ground and you can get through the work, then that's a good thing. But the problem is we portray it like it's the solution.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
To avoiding the problem is never the solution.
Well, you're the problem. So
Exactly. That's the point, right? So I take me with me everywhere I go, right? So if I've been sober for, say, 10 months and I'm still triggered when I drive by Walgreens because they have a pharmacy and they sell alcohol and I've got to avoid Walgreens, that's a fucking problem. That's a huge problem because any trigger that I have, that's my responsibility. So if I feel a certain way or I can't be around my family for 4th of July or Derby because there's drinking, that's a problem. That means I'm not free.
Right.
That means that I'm not recovered.
Right.
That means I'm still sick. Right. But one of my favorite lines in the big book is the end of a perfect day, not a cloud on the horizon. And then what's the guy do? He goes, gets drunk. Right. It's so perfect, I'll screw it up. Right. So I never needed, right. I never will need a reason to drink. If I'm sick, that's the trigger. It's because I'm sick, not because I'm sad.
Yeah.
Or I'm happy. It's because I'm spiritually sick.
Yeah. Well, and I guess for me, looking at it as how you're talking about how it's taught in treatment centers, that's where you always heard it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, obviously, when I was younger, I had a lot of buddies that I ran with,
yeah.
Right? When I was younger. And typically, as you get older, you have less. Right? In the madness, not in the madness, doesn't matter, you have less, right? So, for me, when I was younger, I did have a lot of people that I hung out with and used with and would go cop dope with.
Bad influences.
No, I was the influence, right?
Yeah. But that's what people will call it.
Yeah, but, the last time I got locked up and then got into drug court and was sober for some years, I went back out. And so that was like 2012 when I went into that drug court program. From that point on until now, I didn't get high and I didn't have anybody that I used with. I don't need anyone.
Right.
I drink by myself. I get high by myself.
Yeah.
There's no people that are influenced. I had one person that I bought dope from when I first got sober in 2012, then that first relapse, I had one person from that time on that even when I got sober again and then went back out, I still only had one person that I bought dope from. They didn't drink, they didn't use. They strictly sold and made money. Like a real drug dealer. You know what I mean? I don't know how it happens. So I didn't hang out with them and use with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was,
right.
I'm coming here, I'm getting this from you, and that's it. Call you when I need more.
Right. Yeah. You don't need.
I know me personally, and right. I guess it's different for everybody, but me personally, I didn't have people that triggered me. Places never triggered me because it always started for me as soon as I wake up. No place I'm going to drive by is going to be like, that makes me want to get high right now.
Right,
because I already know where the fuck I'm going to get it, where I'm going to go get it from. I just don't, I feel like like you said a minute ago, it's excuses.
So here's the thing, right? With people, places, and things. Here's the issue that I have with that is number one, it keeps you in a victim mentality.
Mhm.
I'm a victim of my circumstances. I'm a victim of the people I'm around.
Right.
It's their fault. They're the reason why I'm doing this. I'm not taking any responsibility.
Right.
But there's a common denominator
Yeah.
in all of these things, and it's me.
Right.
Like just like you were saying, like I take myself everywhere I go. So I'm the trigger,
Yeah.
not the people, places, and things. Right now, are there some places I shouldn't go? Sure. And so there's some truth to this statement, but
there is. I'm not.
but there's but
for
there's
me there.
I'm sorry, to the statement of avoiding people, places, and things.
Yes.
But not
There's-
avoiding
yes.
certain- yeah.
Right. There's truth to that statement
Yes.
to an extent,
Right.
but you can't always just go through life avoiding the problem.
Yeah.
Because like I said, everywhere I go, there I am.
Right.
Right. So I think I'm avoiding the problem when I'm walking around with the problem that centers up here in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to outthink it again by avoiding, but I'm still walking around with it.
Well,
We're talking about. We were the thing was about triggers, and then we
Right.
went to
Into
people,
people,
places.
yeah.
Because I agree with the people, places, and things. Like that person that I bought dope from for all those years.
Probably shouldn't. I mean, you probably
No.
could now, but
Maybe
you're
I
not
could,
recovery.
but that's the thing is,
you don't have no fucking business.
I was there
Yeah.
every day.
right.
I was at their house every day, and it wasn't. I would go there, and I might sit for because obviously you don't want to just pop in and out.
Right.
That
Yeah.
makes it look suspicious.
Yeah.
So I would hang around for 30 minutes or so,
Right.
but they're kids.
Longest 30 minutes of your life.
They're yeah, right, but there for a while, like their kids would be there.
Right.
I bought their kids presents for Christmas. They bought
You did.
In more than one
And
way.
in college.
Yeah,
And all
in more than one way,
Yeah.
yes. But I would bring them Christmas
Right.
presents, and they would even give me. So I never took my daughter there,
right.
but they would give me gifts at Christmas time. Here, we did get this for you to give to your daughter. Like we had that type of relationship.
Where did you meet the world's nicest drug
I
dealer?
know, right?
They might have been the world's nicest drug dealer, but that's the type. But after I got sober, they knew I got sober,
Yeah, we're done.
and we're done.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I wish you all well.
Right.
Whatever that is in life, whatever
Whatever
you
well
get,
looks for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it looks like, I wish you well. I don't,
Right.
you
But
know,
I gotta be done.
but I'm not gonna come hang out with you.
Right.
guys.
Absolutely. That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
I probably could today, but I'm not going to.
There's
Yeah.
no
There's
sense.
You
no
know.
point in it.
Yeah.
And that's where I look at the people, places, and things.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
But I don't tie that to
Sure,
the
yeah.
trigger
Yeah.
statement we started about.
Well,
Right.
people use
Because I agree
people
with the people,
combine
places,
the two because they think the people, places, and things are what's triggering me.
Right.
Right.
Right. So it can be the same, but it also can be exclusive. Right.
Yeah.
And that goes along with the hang out in the barber shop. You're going
Right.
to get a haircut. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if I'm going every day and hanging out with
Yeah.
these people
I never
because
got that. What the hell are you going to the barbershop for if you're not trying to get a haircut?
Right.
But
I
I'm
guess
just
people
saying,
hang out there and talk.
activities does it to do with the barbershop?
Right. I've never had that
But-
kind of experience at the barbershop.
No.
but I'm just saying, if I go there every day and just hang out, like,
Yeah. Eventually, you're like, yeah,
Eventually,
eventually I need a haircut.
Right.
yeah. But I would say, if I know I'm going there to hang out, I know what's there, and
Right.
at that point, I'm probably no longer spiritually fit, and I'm not
Yeah.
doing the things I
Right,
should be
right.
doing. So
Yeah.
Which, once again, you're the trigger.
right.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess this will probably be the last one. We are all just an arm's length away from a drink. So, we're all the same distance away from a drink.
In a like we're talking about in a physical sense, yeah, all of us can just reach out and grab a drink.
Yeah, but
Right.
But as far as a recovered or recovery standpoint, no, because
I
some
agree.
people are closer than others.
I agree.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I see your wheels turning, and you're like, I don't know.
I've been telling people this.
Yeah, but you think about it.
No, I haven't.
That's Joe's go-to.
Yeah.
That's what I tell
You know.
everybody.
Yeah.
Because what that means is,
What if you ain't got no arms?
Right.
people,
Here, let me handle it.
it's not the same. for
It's
everyone.
not.
It's not. You know, someone who is actively in recovery
I mean,
and
No, I agree.
in the center,
Right.
like, and then versus someone who is just hanging on. I'm just going to a meeting.
yeah,
Right.
That's all I'm doing. Like, there's a huge
No,
difference
huge
there
gap.
between
Right.
something happens to you
Right.
or you, like, your thought's not going to be I'm going to pick up a drink versus someone who is not involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They have no defense.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But we're all this. What the hell is it again? We're all the same.
We're all
Well,
arm's
we're
length
all
away
arm's length
from a
away
drink.
from a drink. So we're all the same distance away from.
In the physical aspect, yes.
Well, I
100%.
think
We're
in
all
the-
susceptible to relapse the same.
No,
Yeah,
But-
we're not.
we all have the disease, and if we
Yeah.
don't treat the disease,
Exactly.
we're all going to be in the same fucking spot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But like, I agree. As long as you're putting the work in, you're a hell of a lot better than the guy who just had 4 days fucking sober and he's going to meetings and barely hanging on. Like and of course it's our job to help that guy, to help him get to the
Mhm.
point that we're at.
Like, that person's like a strong hand away. from
Right.
a drink.
Take my
You're an
hand.
arm length. They're
Right,
a strong
right,
hand.
right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
It's like
they're already holding it.
for me, like no matter what happens in my life today, right? There's no reason for me to be an arm's length away from a drink. There could be a drink right here that I could literally pick up, and I feel like I'm not in an arm's length from a drink because I feel like I'm spiritually fit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree that statement is kind of bullshit. And
It's like there's a butt coming in.
No. I'll use me for an example, right? So I've told y'all the story about me going on my way to the liquor store, right? I'm dry as shit. I'm not working a program, but I was, I had some time behind me. You know what I mean? A couple of years, maybe more. I don't know. But some shit happened in my life. I'm not working a program. I'm not spiritually fit. My answer is alcohol, right? Today, some shit's happening in my life.
Mhm.
I mean, y'all know what's up.
Yeah.
You know the shit that I'm dealing with or whatever. You know what I mean? But my answer isn't alcohol. My answer is to be of service. My answer is to help. My answer is to pray. My answer is to reach out to y'all, and y'all have to listen to my bullshit.
Exactly.
You
So
know?
you're not as
Right.
the same
So-
distance away from
Exactly.
the drink as
From
someone
that
as
point-
Joe.
Yeah. From that point in my life and this point in my life, it's 100% difference. So yeah, I don't agree with that statement at all.
I don't either. Evan said it really well because you got to think like if Evan has 4 sponsees that he's working with, he's going to his home group. He's got the fellowship part going on. He's working the steps, right? And, and all of his affairs. He's doing all that. And he's got commitments or whatever. He's doing all that. And then you got, and say you're doing nothing.
Right.
You're going to a meeting once a week.
Right.
You're a lot closer to a drink than he is.
Absolutely.
Now I understand that if we don't treat our disease, we're all the same
Right.
the way. But that kind of ties back in with the thing we're all always going to be sick.
Right. I think
know,
that ties back into every other statement before.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's like where's
We're
the
just-
hope?
Yeah. If we're
In
just putting a
something like
plug
that.
in the jug, or we're just
Yeah,
fucking
like there's just no hope.
avoiding triggers, or we're just
And, like,
yeah.
It treats it like it's like this, like recovery is some magical, mystical thing that some of us get struck with and some of us don't. It's like if you're lucky, you won't drink today. It's like no, I just don't.
I think
that. And I think if you're doing the work, then you're
Right.
going to be on solid ground.
it makes it sound like we're working a program of avoidance,
Yes,
and we're not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're working a spiritual program
of action,
of action.
which is the total opposite.
Right. We're not avoiding shit.
Yeah.
We're putting the work in to hit like that on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think most of these statements that come from treatment centers, and I'm not saying they're bad statements. You know what I mean? For people who
It's the way they're packaged.
yeah, for the guy who's got 30 years to still be repeating this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then maybe something's wrong. Or maybe he's trying to reach the guy who just has one day and he's like, hey, look, dude, like, avoid all your triggers. fucking put the plug in the jug and come to meetings, but take the shit home from the meetings and put the work in. You know what I mean? I think more needs to be added to.
But that's where that is where so
That's the
a lot of
disconnect.
a lot of the
Right,
a lot
yeah.
of old timers will say that.
Right.
They will tell newcomers these things.
Mhm.
But they're saying them from a place of just come to meetings. Just come to meetings, hoping
That they'll
that
pick
you're
up.
gonna
Right.
hear what you're supposed to hear.
Absolutely.
And then do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But it gets misunderstood
Right.
by a lot
We
of
get
newcomers.
off the page.
That's the problem with it is we need to be more direct
Mhm.
and in depth of what that means
Right.
instead of just saying it. Just
Right.
come to meetings. Don't drink and come to meetings.
Keep coming back.
That's a great
Yeah, that's true.
start.
Right.
Those are great starts.
Right.
But those are like I said misunderstood because it's not we're not elaborating on it, right?
Right. It's like when somebody told their wife that they didn't want them to come to their celebration and they just left it at that. And then their wife got mad at you. You know what I mean?
I should have elaborated
Right, yeah.
on what I meant.
Well, he
there
should have
a little
elaborated
more.
too, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
No, thanks,
exactly.
bro.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of like what you were just saying, right? Is well, whose responsibility is it to tell them? Like it's our responsibility
Absolutely.
to tell these people these things because, like, keep coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want you to keep coming back. You know, we want you to. We should tell people to keep coming back. But while you're at it, let's get you a sponsor.
Right.
Let's
You
work
got a
some
book?
steps. You got a book.
Right.
You know, do you understand what's wrong with you? You know, do you understand what alcoholism really is? You know, like we need to go a little more. There's not much depth and weight and keep coming back. You
Right.
know, so but there is a lot of depth and weight. Is keep coming back, man. You know, by the way, do you have a sponsor? You
Right.
know, hey, I'll sponsor you.
Right.
You know, stuff
Keep
like
coming
that.
back.
Right?
Hey, my name's so and so, and
Yeah,
how are you? How long you got? What are you working on? Like,
there's
yeah.
depth to that, but there's just hey, just keep coming back.
Right.
Like, okay, well, everyone in the meeting shared about all the stuff that they heard in treatment. So
Right.
that's kind of where we get off the page
Yeah.
because that gets filtered down. Like, and then all of a sudden, like I said earlier, right, that message gets screwed around.
Right.
And then we started off with a message of avoid your triggers, you know, and then that even gets messed around. And then you got this crazy message
Yeah.
that, you know, people think that you have to outthink this thing, or if you just acquire enough knowledge, you know, or if you just don't drink no matter what. You know, it's like, well, the first step tells me that I drink no matter what.
Right.
You know, so what do we do now? You know,
And I didn't get sober to just always live in that mind state of
No.
just don't drink today. Just
Right.
don't
Yeah.
drink today.
Yeah,
That's
that
not
was-
why
well,
I
if
got
you didn't drink today, you've had a successful day.
right.
Like,
Really? Where did I
Yeah.
grow?
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Because I didn't get sober to still be living in somebody's fucking basement, avoiding paying them rent and shit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I got sober to fucking live life,
Mm-hmm.
not to avoid shit. You know what I mean?
And I think I said it on here one time before. Like, my cat's been sober 13 years. Who cares?
Right.
Like, who gives a shit?
Right.
Like, yeah, you didn't drink today. Good job. Like, that's awesome.
Did you
but-
help something?
But did you help somebody? Did
Right.
you harm anybody today?
Right.
Oh, you're cheating on your wife?
Right.
I've had a successful day because I didn't drink. No, motherfucker. That's not.
Yeah.
That's
You're
not. A,
still
you're a
working.
disgrace.
You're still doing your same alcoholic bullshit.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
this is about so much more than not drinking.
Absolutely.
Like that's just the beginning,
Right.
right? So, and it ties into what you were saying earlier, right? Is you know somebody that is just not drinking,
Mhm.
and I feel bad for them because
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's hell.
That sucks.
That sucks.
I've done it.
That's
Yeah.
not. But
Yeah.
but what people will hear is that's recovery.
No.
That's not recovery.
No.
That is just
That's misery.
raw dogging life.
Right.
Is what that is. That's not what recovery looks like. But, and I know who you're talking about. So I don't think this is necessarily an issue with that particular person, but it could be with someone else. That person talks to a newcomer
Right.
Mhm.
like, hey, I've been sober like 2 years. life sucks.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
sobriety's awful. And then it's like, but they keep coming back. It's
Yeah,
like, well, why?
Yeah.
You're just telling me how bad your life is
Right.
and how hard it is, and you're 2 years in and you're still dealing with this. I don't want to have to grind like that every day.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just fucking drink.
Right.
You know, it's just we got to be careful what we're saying
Right.
and who we're saying it to.
I just tell people life's life, and you know what I mean. Life's life, and
Well, it's going to life whether you're drinking
Right.
or not.
Right. Yeah. And you
You
can
know?
grow with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, if you're still miserable, then you're definitely doing something wrong,
You're missing something,
or a lot of things.
or you're missing a lot. You're missing a program.
Right.
Is
Right.
typically what's missing.
Right.
Because let's think about it. So we got Evan talked earlier about the three sides of the triangle. What's usually the one that we let go of last? And that is the fellowship. That's usually the one that we'll hang on to.
Right.
Because I'm going to meetings. So I've got to be doing good because I'm still going to meetings.
You think it's because we picked that one up first?
I think it's because it's the easiest one. I think because let's face it, guys, like us Alcoholics Anonymous, we're lazy. We're lazy people. And it's like if I can, in my mind, come up with, well, I'm still doing recovery. What's the easiest road? What's the half measure I can take? Well, I can go to a meeting once a week.
Right.
That's the easiest. That's easier than talking to my sponsor, doing the step work, going to a treatment center, sponsoring someone, chairing a meeting, or doing any kind of service work. That's the easiest one. And that's why it's usually the one that we do.
You know, it's funny when you ask somebody what happened with going to meetings. That's always the first answer. But yeah, you quit going to meetings, you quit praying, you quit calling your sponsor, you quit helping other people, you quit sponsoring people, you quit working steps every day, you quit taking accountability.
And if you talk to them long enough, you'll find out that's typically the only thing they were doing was going to meetings.
Right.
It's like I quit going to meetings. It's like, okay, so did you stop working the steps? Well,
Right.
really wasn't. I was just going to meetings. It's
Right,
like, oh,
right.
okay. Well, yeah. Because we can go periods of time without going to meetings.
Yeah.
And be okay.
Absolutely.
It's not like something we recommend. But, if I don't go to a meeting for a week or 10 days or 2 weeks, like,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Schedules get busy, kids, and everything
Yeah.
you have going on.
Right.
Yeah. But if I go that long without applying the steps in my life,
Right.
it usually comes out pretty quick in like resentment,
Yeah.
or fear,
Right.
or some shit like that, or
Right.
I'll
Just
pop
being-
off on somebody,
being an
irritable,
asshole. Yeah.
restless, discontent.
Yeah.
That usually starts to creep in.
Right. Yeah. If you quit working the steps every day, you quit praying. You know what I mean? And you're not going to meetings?
A meeting ain't gonna fix that.
No, but going to meetings will help you.
Get back on track.
Right. Well, also, yeah, absolutely. And going to meetings helps me help somebody else. And it helps remind me, hey, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah, and we are in no way saying that meetings aren't important.
Right.
That you shouldn't go to meetings.
Right.
It's-
That's just not the only fucking answer.
Exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
This was fun, guys.
Appreciate y'all inviting me.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming out again, man.
Yeah.
You gonna wrap it up?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you all tuning in and hanging out with us.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you next time.